Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just fine. You okay, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, buddy. What's going on? What's news?
Not much. So, I'm just letting you know we are going to record all of this so we can put it on the YouTube channel later as an audio. But I'll
That's fine.
transcribe the print edition for our April 1st edition.
Cool, right, brilliant. I thought I was just getting everything. I just been going through the channel now. I like it. I'm gonna actually spend this week going through the rest of it, I think.
Nice. So, I invite you to speak at length about whatever you want. We don't do a lot of editing or cutting things, so we'll include it.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Let's start with an easy question. Who are you and where are you located?
My name is Lee, and I'm located in Wales at the moment. Actually, at this very moment, I'm sitting in a car park in a kebab shop. It's the only quiet place I could find to do this interview. So,
And do you live in Wales?
yeah, well, from Wales, but back and forth. I travel around. I do because of my job. But yeah,
How old are you?
back and forth. 44, mate. 44.
And what got you started in experimental music?
I used to do experimental music many years ago, like probably maybe 20 years ago, 20 years ago, back and forth to London, back and forth to Leeds, back and forth to Glasgow at the time, I think. But then just that fell to the wayside, and I just got back into it then. In like I think it might have been just after COVID, 2022, maybe 2021. I've just been recording the roots, meeting people along the way, like-minded folk. It's been good.
Do you perform much?
I got my first gig in May with this. It's going to be in Reading at High Life. It's a show put on by this guy Ben Sandiford, who used to be an actor. Actually, he was in a few films, British films, and some British sitcoms. But he does it. He's like a drama teacher or something now, so he does all this instead of that. He's given up that sort of as part of his life. He's back doing this. I think I don't know, but that should be in May.
How did you get involved in the music scene originally?
It started off. I think when I started back listening to new music, I think I was into like the only thing that's out there really. I was still into stuff like White House and Throbbing Gristle, but like the biggest genre out there was like vaporwave. That was like huge. So that still there. I don't know. Do you think that's still big as big as it was?
There's plenty of people that make it.
Yeah. Just listening to a lot of that and trying to emulate that. I think that's in a lot of the early CUMSLEG BORENAIL stuff. But I just got bored with it. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. But moved on to then sampling the guitar, sampling all the instruments, instruments I got, like violin, mashing it up, and then putting it into whatever I do now.
Your music is really well produced. Produced for like the genre that it is.
Yeah. It's I got this thing only the past couple of years. I wanted to get really good at the production, and it's only quite recently. It's not about the microphone. I don't care about the microphone or the setup. I'm going direct input straight into a Behringer sound card. It's nothing, and the microphones are Behringer again. Everything's cheap.
Yeah.
But I think you can do a lot. I use Reaper, free version of Reaper for all of it. I do buy VST plugins. I read loads about production and everything else, but I found a method at the moment which really works and makes it sound a little bit better or a little bit better produced, as you say, for the genre. And that is basically it's just to do with the left-right. That's it. I split the instrument, and then you stagger it. You can actually stagger it left to right, change its volume, the way it's hitting, and change the frequency range of where that's moving along at the time. And that really splits it up. It makes things hell of a lot clearer, and it sounds professional. It does sound a lot better. I'm a coil fan, so a lot of this stuff was experimental, but it was crystal clear, and I like that. You know, there's a real, I think it's. I don't know. I go back and forth. I think a lot of power electronics. If you listen to a lot of White Dust stuff, it's not distorted. It's feedback. The feedback's clear. You know what I mean? It's just been manipulated, and I think it's that clarity I like. That you can hear it. That you can actually, that it's not just bogged down in some sort of analog gear. But yeah, it's getting better.
Do you play conventionally at all? Do you have any instruments you play?
Yeah, I played guitar for a long time, piano when I was a kid. Messing around with violin. I'm an awful violinist. I got one, but I play it. I'm so bad at it. I treat it as like avant-garde. I'm so bad at it. But I sample it and scrape it, and then like, oh yeah, that's very Stockhausen. I just leave it at that. But it's I don't think what else I play. I try to get hold of a lot of like percussion instruments. So like a lot of there's a guy called I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Giacinto Scelsi. I think he's an Italian composer, and there's a lot of percussion instruments in that. Like I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I do like a lot of those like Chinese and Japanese sort of old instruments of antiquity. Again, I can't remember what they're called, but they just got a certain sound to them, which I don't know. A lot of VSTs and things and samples and stuff, they just can't emulate.
Right. So why did you start CUMSLEG BORENAIL?
Because I don't know. There was just nothing. I don't know. I just I wanted to do something. It was going to be on my own. It was going to be a single project for me, and it's grown a little bit. A lot of people like it. I get radio bits and bobs here and there. Dark Train. I'm always on the Dark Train radio. That's Warminster radio. I have been on Radio 6 once, so then a remix someone else did of my work on it. So I think it's little things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also like an addiction to music. I can't stop doing music. I do like an album a month, but it's like 10 songs. I'm just always listening to those over and over and over again over the month until they're ready, and then they're done. It's out. They're ready to go.
I've noticed you got a lot of fast turnover. You keep applying things month after month.
Yeah. I think I got a process now. I think I got a pretty good process. Do it all in layers. Build up the layers. Add samples at a certain point. Like I use a lot of AI sampling at the moment now for the speech, from any of the talking parts, and they're random. It's like AI doesn't know how to. Well, what I use is 11 laps. It doesn't understand what you want a lot of times. You get something fresh and new, and it's like, oh, I'll use that then. It just sounds so alien that you just think, oh, that's actually quite new. But I think that's the benefit of artificial intelligence at the moment. The music itself, I don't use AI at all. It's all my stuff cut up and everything. But certainly
what does that
for
process look like? The process of cutting it up and reassembling it.
So I've got I got this free sampler. It's called, I have to think of it now, TX16X or something like that. It's a free one. It's garbage. It's like a real how can I say? It's like it's a bigger company that do this, but anyway, it's a knockoff of that. So what you can do is you get your sample. I play the guitar, put it in. It cuts it on transient, and I drag those transient on the notes. And then you play those notes, and you can change the velocity, you can change anything you like. And then that might be the base of the song, that might be the actual start of it, but then I might play something live in between parts of that, or, take a sample in between each of that, like this from some random artificial intelligence thing or whatever. And then, what's that sound like? Cut that up again. And I think a lot of it is like just keep cutting and cutting and cutting until it does sound, a lot of stuff does sound new, but I mean, for this new, the last two I've sort of written ready to go, it's all sound design. It's all, you know, sine waves, you know, simple waveforms that are, you know, it's all sound design. So actually, it's quite original stuff that I'm doing that I'm not sampling and not anything. It's all from that.
A lot of it's, or some of it sounds like slowed down. Do you do any of that? Like,
oh yeah. I'm not going to give away the secret of that. Now, there is something called yeah, there is something called Paulex stretch. Have you come across that?
Mm-hmm.
It's a really old piece of software, and it stretches things, and it does the way it stretches it. It does it in terms of sort of I can't remember how it describes it. It does it in Windows, so it samples the sample in Windows of data then. And then fills in the gaps. Now I found another process which I use, which like takes off all the distortion, and it's like it just makes everything clear when you stretch it. It makes it gives a really weird sound as well, and it's from the DAW, from the digital audio workstation. It's not an instrument, so I've probably given away the name already, but that's the secret I use for that. Because I find with every other stretching piece of software, you get this heavy distorted sound. Whereas with this particular method, it's clean. It's like there's a lot of if I put an acoustic guitar through it and slow that right down, it sounds like something like, it reminds me of CANN, but like otherworldly. You know, it is a guitar. You can hear that, and it rises up into a guitar sound, but it's definitely something else. It's strange. Not something I've heard before. Anyway.
What kind of mood would you say you're trying to achieve with CUMSLEG BORENAIL?
I have various stages of depression, so it reflects that. And if you hear a happy song, there it's reflecting that mood. It's reflecting that I'm a little bit more jovial that day than usual. But yeah, I think the main thing is like this, you know, just capturing that, I suppose, just capturing that sort of grim sadness in a way. Because the lyrics, I listen back to them sometimes and like, really just calm down. Just calm down.
Like it has this mixture of like really well put together quality mixed with an almost, there's always a sense you're like losing your mind.
I think that's in the repetition. I do enjoy a bit of repetition is like a drill to your head, isn't it? You know. But no, I do. Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of it. Once you stack certain instruments as well, because let's say with the guitar work. So let's say I don't even choose a minor chord, you know, key or scale or anything like that. I just play random notes, you know, tidy it up, cut it all up. But something in my ear picks up on that pattern. Then you know the actual pattern that it's like. It must be just my brain. It picks up on that. I think it sounds great. Other people probably think it sounds absolutely miserable. But, you know, you stack it, sample it, cut everything up, just keep cutting and cutting. But that, I think those sort of the cut up guitar parts or whatever I'm working on, it's, I don't know, it's a natural choice then.
Yeah. So I also noticed you've begun to submit other artists' work under the CUMSLEG BORENAIL records name. Tell me about that.
So yeah, well, some of them, one or two of them, Fresh Prince is me. That's a collab with my brother, and then there's another guy from Huddersfield called Adrian Bottomley, and he's Kleiner Maschinen. And he actually records everything live, so, you know, changes up some pedals and records it live. I think he's got a lot of toys he puts through it as well. He's got like toys and all shit like that. But yeah, that's that guy. And yeah, there's a few other ones. I did have one guy from it might have been China. I cannot. It was the name is in Chinese, so I never learned how to pronounce it. But he did. I think it's like this really experimental form of vaporwave called Death Dream. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's like, you know, that's unbelievably slowed down. They don't just slow it down, but they slow it right down. But he does that, and that was a big seller. I'd say big seller, but I mean, it had a real lot of. I didn't have to even advertise it that much. It had a real big pull. People really, really liked that. It's dark.
Had a group. At least that sounded like witchy women, like it was sort of seance or something. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
oh, I
about?
can't remember. Yeah, it's Witch House, isn't it? It's let me I just bring that up now. Oh, human phobia. That's it, human phobia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there was human phobia. The dude's been around for years. I think he came. I think he was out in LA or something when Witch House first came out and got big, and they just stuck at it. I think it's him and his girlfriend. They do it. But I
I see.
re-released some of his work because he wanted to re-release it. But yeah, that's really good stuff. I do like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So, what are your plans for the project in the near future?
I think just some more live. I mean, at the age I am, I just want to go out and have a laugh, to be honest, just have a try and cheer up a bit, like. But yeah, I think I'd like to play various little venues around this country, around Britain, and I don't know, just continue with it, see where it goes. Um,
By the way, I looked it
I
up.
don't
The
know.
artist I was thinking of was Laura Mars.
Ah, Laura Mars. Yeah, yeah. Now, she contacted me. They say whoever she is, she said, I don't even know if it's a real person, like it's the internet after all. But it's yeah, that was it's just, well, from what they've said, it's this woman from Germany. Um, and that's her. And she has appeared somewhere else, I think, on dystopian frequencies, I think I did see. So I'm not sure if she's British or what. This is just, and to me, some parts of it, and no offense to her, they do sound like an AI singing voice. But that's the mask now people can wear, but whatever. It's good stuff. I'm not saying that it's not good stuff. It is very, very good. I wouldn't have released it otherwise. But yeah, it was really good. I think that was warm. That was like really ritualistic stuff, isn't it? I think the
Right.
newest one coming.
It sounded very
Yeah.
witchy. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so do you just
I
kind
think
of
I'm
do these other artists normally contact you?
Yeah, they do. It's very rare that I speak to someone and say, "Oh, I'd like to release something," because there's so many avenues people can release things now that you kind of are a bit of a drop in the ocean. It's there's just so much out there now at the moment. They can do it all themselves, and a lot of people have got little scenes themselves, and they just
Sure.
they just do that wherever they are. Um, but it's yeah, it's very rare. I mean, it's very rare now. I haven't had anyone come through and ask for something. I think the last one, they didn't follow through. It was that was a vaporwave project, and they just didn't contact me again. So they've gone off and done something else.
But they're interested in collaborating with you. So how did they hear about you?
I well, I'm on every. I think I'm on every social network. I think I'm on every social network, and I think what you tend to find, and nowadays I'm hearing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of people. They're on Mixcloud, and there's always like underground sort of people making these mixes on Mixcloud. It's almost like tapes, isn't it? Cassette trading and stuff. Mixcloud, I think, is like the hub. It really is a hub because a lot of people who are putting mixes together, and that's how other people find the local, or local to Britain, I suppose. That's how I find people. And Bandcamp itself is like, I think that's the one-stop shop now. It's not going anywhere, and
Oh
you
yeah.
find lots of people through that. But yeah, it's still social media. All that stuff is social media. I don't think that's going away. Um,
Do you find yourselves
and
performing with these people?
no, not yet. I will be now in May,
Yeah.
but that's about it. Everyone's a lot younger. No, they're not that young. I got to be honest. There's people around my age still doing it. In fact, a lot of people I collab with are my age. They are my age or older. They've been
Hmm.
doing it for 20, 30 years.
Sure. Did you have any other primary projects before CUMSLEG?
I was in a few shitty bands, a few death metal bands and stuff on and off. But yeah, I've been just been concentrating on work. I think more than anything for the past couple of years, and then this sort of because I think the more what I've learned is the more I work with other people in sort of bands and stuff like that, everything slows down, and that's just not the speed I work at. So,
Yeah. Yeah, you're very productive.
Yeah, because I don't have to wait for anyone. That's why I think that's why when I push and push and push to sort of get an instrument, do this, do that. I can't wait for all these people to like provide instruments, instrumentals for me, or do this. I just got to get it myself or do it myself. I think that's where some of the AI stuff comes in as well. I don't overuse it, but like if I want an instrument that like no one's heard, although I am, or I've just come across or whatever, you can get it now via sample it and cut it up and stretch it down or whatever, and where you couldn't now, but well, in life.
I have absolutely nothing against AI. I know it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to not like it because I'm an artist, but I just feel like it's
Yeah,
another
yeah,
medium.
I think. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if you listen to the last three releases I've done, I've used people speaking. That is text I typed in, and these people are speaking it, AI. But it's like it sounds like really strange, like as if they've recorded. Like they sound like I don't know, they don't sound like real people, or they sound like just from another country somewhere, like some third world or something. And it's like I can't produce that. You know what I mean? The artificial intelligence has done that. And it's like, well, that's new. It's new to me. It's new. It's new. I can't get away from it. Why would I limit myself? But you're right. I mean, you're probably the first person who hasn't got a big issue with AI. But, there's
I
there's a lot of
yeah.
people who do
I'm going to say something controversial. I
do it.
found a lot of the people who are talking about our AI affecting artists
Yeah.
aren't very productive artists themselves,
No, no.
and
I
that the
think I
ones
think.
that do a lot don't care.
Mm,
That's been my observation.
no, no. Well, you've got to remember that a lot of artists, we call them, they're looking for like they treat it like a business. They're looking for the sort of marketable. What's
Right.
marketable? What can I do that's marketable? The problem they've got with AI is that I've seen things out there and I've looked at various products out there, and they can produce music just as good as those people, and they're going to get wiped out. you
Yeah.
know, they're gonna get completely wiped out because it will saturate. You're gonna have
Sure.
what you're gonna have. You're gonna have anyone who thinks now I'm gonna be a musician, I'm gonna write for TV and film. Those days are done. Or I'm gonna write for video games. Those days are done. Jingles and that's all over. That's done.
That's
I mean,
true.
funny enough, this week I bought
But those
I
are
got
all the
back into
jobs.
art again.
Sorry, those are all the jobs I didn't
No,
want
go
in the
on, go on,
first
go
place. Those are like
on.
I didn't want those jobs.
Yeah.
I want to make the
No,
craziest
no,
thing I can. Like
but
that's
that's
what
the
I
thing,
want.
it's a job, isn't it? A lot of people think, and I hear time and time again about the working musician. I get it. There's a lot of people who are artists or artists who are starving, but that's, I think,
Mm-hmm.
isn't that inspirational in itself? Isn't that what would make you
But
write something, sort of heartfelt, I suppose?
and it's always
A
been
lot of
that
those,
way, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah. It's always been. You could say that from what session musicians,
Mm-hmm.
to onwards, but then again, all that type of stuff, the session musician stuff, I think that's over. That's like done. That's like done. And funnily enough, humorously, the only music that's probably going to be left that cannot be replicated is probably noise music or power electronics,
Yeah.
and
Oh
it'll finally get its heyday again.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
thought a fun idea for an installation would be to have an
yeah.
AI performer and an AI audience, and just not have any people.
Yeah, and that sounds a lot like John Cage's 3 minutes of silence. Whatever that song is, like it's like
Like it would just be
because
like
the
a
thing,
speaker that plays music, and then a speaker that plays applause, and then
yeah, and actually, that's quite reflective of the internet. 'Cause they talk about that now. Don't they talk about that it's what's the terminology? I can't remember. It's something like dead accounts or something. There's so many
hmm
bots out there. It's just bots talking to bots.
I've heard that
so
a lot
so
of
it's
times
actually
in those
yeah,
comment
yeah, yes.
threads. You click on someone to see who they are, and it's clearly not a human being.
No, no, and don't you? You know when something's a bot and when it's not.
Of
You just
course,
do.
so they have to be
Um,
pictures and nothing else.
yeah, yeah. I think that's getting marginally cleverer. I mean, I was looking at those AI influencers the other day. You can tell it's AI. You can actually tell. No, you can't tell, and it's going to get better. I get that. Oh, excuse me,
It's
but
almost funny because the people driving their content are probably also bought. So it's like,
yeah.
it's this
So this
weird
is where you're.
self-feeding.
So this is where your installation comes in, yeah, because you're gonna have
Exactly.
you got like an empty room,
Yeah.
one computer on one side, a computer on the other side, speaker and
Yes.
microphone, and
Exactly.
you've left you've
Exactly.
left the room.
Exactly.
There's no one, there's nothing, you know. Um, because it's strange really, because everything's scripted, and all these people, the content on everything is scripted, and everything is like it's just not real, is it? Nothing is real beyond
No, not
that.
anymore. If it ever was,
No.
it certainly isn't now.
I think the last time I remember there being sort of, some sort of meaningful scene, then we'll call it then. Like, and I know there was some after, but I would say alternative music, 1990s alternative music, grunge and all that sort of stuff. I know there was a lot of stuff with hardcore later on, about 10 years later. I think that was the last meaningful one. I think well, I'd say meaningful, but that's where, like, I think new metal was thrown together. Do you know what I mean? A lot of those type of big genres of metal, they were thrown together when it was, whereas I think that was more homegrown, wasn't it? All the Seattle stuff
Yeah, the technology wasn't sophisticated enough to blow it apart.
Oh yeah,
That's part of it. It's like
because
it was still radio. You still had physical media like
yeah,
CDs
yeah,
and cassettes.
yeah.
And
And you know what? I think sorry, I do go back to that. It was slow. It was slow because you didn't have the internet. Everything was really slow. So all these things, grew. They grew
right,
naturally. It was natural. It was all real natural stuff. It wasn't like, well, I mean, I'm on every social network, I suppose, and I'm
right.
trying to push stuff out and
Sure.
tag it and do all that. That's the best I can do. But
Well,
it drops. It's a drop in the ocean. You know what I mean? That's why I probably am so prolific. Then is because in releasing an album a month, I've always got something out there. I'm always on the some
yeah,
sort of, I don't know, getting picked up by something.
sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
So, is there anything you'd like to promote?
Trying to think what I just released. Oh yeah, I just released an album called Alone Again. And that was it was an album that originally started off as like dubstep. I wanted to do a bit of dubstep, so I learned how to do it with the filters, and it just descended into something else. But that's what I got out of the moment, Alone Again.
Yeah,
But funny enough, usually I put out 100 downloads, code thing, Bandcamp codes. They've almost gone. It's the fastest I've seen it go at the moment. I think there's 3 left of the 100. So I kind of gauge it with that. But if I put these out there and then it's gone, it's like, oh, this must be good. Then I must have done something good.
for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So, last question. Is there anything you were hoping to say that I didn't ask you about? And if so, go for it.
Oh, put me on the spot. No, no, we covered everything. We covered everything. In fact, I like your idea of that installation. I think you can build on that. I think you can build on that. I think there's something more to that. I think it's humorous actually because it's like there's no one now. You and I just had this conversation about
Right.
installations. Where I am, there is no one like that. I'm on my pod. No one's talking about art. No one's talking about that. That's probably where a lot of my music comes from. But
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a strange one. But no, the idea of an installation now, that's actually quite good. That's a good idea. I like that.
Thank you.
I think you need to pull it off. You need to do this.
All right. Well, that was a good interview.
Yeah, thank you. That was great. I enjoyed that.
So I appreciate you sitting down with me. And like I said, the print will be out on April 1st, and then the
Okay.
audio will be later that month.
Yeah,
I'll give you-
I'll do my usual. I'll do my usual spamming. That's my usual thing.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that, Ryan. That's great.
All right. Have a great night.
You too, buddy. Salah.